In 1999, HBO debuted the mafia crime TV series The Sopranos for the first time. Little did anyone know at the time that this series would be a smash hit, eventually spanning 6 seasons, totaling 86 episodes, and revolutionizing just what the small screen was capable of. Considered the granddaddy of the current golden age of television, The Sopranos is widely considered one of the best TV dramas of all time, with its central character often touted as the best character in television history. Created by David Chase, The Sopranos follows James Gandolfini as Tony Soprano, husband, father, friend, and New Jersey-based Italian-American mafia boss whose strains of his personal and professional life land him in the office of therapist Dr. Melfi. The show contains a whole host of memorable characters and storylines and remains to this day a household name in the homes of Americans. The Sopranos finished in 2007, and though David Chase has completed what he wanted to do with the series, there were murmurings of a spin-off show, or even a movie, a la the HBO movie Deadwood, which concluded the Deadwood series' storyline after viewers were left hanging after the 3rd season, 13 years after the end of the show. However, any talks of further Sopranos works seem to have ended when in 2013 the show's main star James Gandolfini passed away. It seemed impossible that HBO would be able to make a follow-up project that would do justice to The Sopranos without the talent of Gandolfini. However, in 2017, though he had no interest in continuing The Sopranos, creator David Chase did hint at a possible prequel to the show, and in March 2018, New Line Cinema announced that they had purchased a film which would be a prequel to the show, written by Chase himself. Titled The Many Saints of Newark, which it seems has been recently shortened to simply Newark, the film will tell its own story whilst having returning faces from the show, and is due to be released on September the 25th, 2020. Here are 7 things you should know about The Many Saints of Newark. Number 1. The original team is back. As mentioned, the creator and brain of The Sopranos, David Chase, is returning to spearhead the new film, and with him, he is bringing Sopranos staff writer Lawrence Konner, who he wrote the screenplay with. Konner received sole writing credit for 3 Sopranos episodes, and has also written for HBO's other major gangster TV show, Boardwalk Empire. The movie is being directed by Alan Taylor, and though this might raise eyebrows with some fans as he is the director of films like Terminator Genisys, he is part of the original Sopranos crew, having directed 9 episodes of the show, winning an Emmy for one, and he also directed 7 episodes of Game of Thrones. Number 2. Despite Gandolfini's death, a young Tony Soprano will appear in the film, and that's not all, because the character is being played by none other than Gandolfini's own son, Michael, whose most known works is in the TV series The Deuce. Stepping into his late father's iconic role of a lifetime as the future mob boss of New Jersey will be no small challenge, but after extensive auditions were carried out to find the right person to be able to play a young Tony, eventually the filmmakers decided that Michael's strong resemblance to his father and his ability to mimic his mannerisms made him right for the role. Number 3. The film will be partially set in 1960s New Jersey in Newark, at a time where racial tensions were high between Italian Americans and Afro Americans. It will take place during the race riots, which began when Newark police officers arrested and physically abused an African American taxi driver, and the subsequent 4 days of violence and looting ended with 26 people dead and hundreds injured. But as The Sopranos' main character Tony Soprano would be 7 years old in 1967, and the character has been cast by a teenager, clearly the movie will either take place over a long period of time or will go back and forward with flashbacks. That is, of course, unless Tony's age is retconned in the movie. Number 4. The main character is someone called Richard Dickie Moltisanti, who is being played by Alessandro Nivola, of American Hustle and A Most Violent Year fame. Sopranos fans may remember that although we have never seen Dickie in the show, he is the father of Tony's protege, Christopher Moltisanti, and he is thought to have been gunned down when Christopher was young. Dickie was one of the mentors of Tony when the mobster was a young up-and-coming member of La Cosa Nostra. He was a Vietnam War veteran and a foot soldier in the Sopranos family. He is also the cousin of Tony's wife Carmela, and the title of the film directly references him, as Moltisanti literally means many saints in Italian. There is little we know of when it comes to Dickie, as Tony rarely shared much details to Christopher about his father in the show. We know that Tony considers him to have been a stand-up guy, and in one episode, he helps Christopher overcome one of his personal demons when he sends him on a mission to murder his father's killer, a retired detective, although it is widely debated whether this really was Dickie's killer. According to Nivola, the movie will explore the history of Dickie and Tony's past, and he says that his character is a charismatic but violent made man who falls in love with his father's much younger bride, a recent immigrant from Italy. Number 5. The rest of the cast isn't half bad either. The Many Saints of Newark will star the likes of Ray Liotta, who many will of course know as the main character of Martin Scorsese's mob movie classic Goodfellas, which The Sopranos borrowed heavily from. Interestingly, Liotta was once offered the role of Tony Soprano when the show was in its development, but he rejected the part. Alongside him, Italian actress Michela De Rossi will play the woman Dickie falls in love with. Newark has also found its Olivia Soprano, Tony's demented and sinister mother who torments him in the first 3 seasons of The Sopranos. She's being played by Vera Farmiga of The Conjuring and The Departed fame. Jon Bernthal, known from The Punisher and The Wolf of Wall Street, is also in the film. Others include Corey Stoll, Billy Magnussen, John Magaro, Gio Diaz, and Leslie Odom Jr. Number 6. The returning characters from the show. We don't yet know exactly how many characters are returning, whether we'll be seeing younger versions of the likes of Richie Aprile, Carmine Lupertazzi, and Phil Leotardo, but we do know that we will be seeing Dickie Moltisanti, Tony Soprano, Livia Soprano, Giovanni Johnny Boy Soprano, Tony's father who appeared in flashback sequences on the show, and Uncle Junior. Given the timeline when the film is set, it's likely fans will see younger versions of the likes of Paul Gualtieri, Tony Blundetto, and Johnny Sack. Number 7. The infamous diner in which the final scene of The Sopranos is set is due to appear. Fans have debated for years as to what exactly happened at New Jersey's Holston Ice Cream Parlor in the show's final scene when the series cuts to black. But nevertheless, the co-owner of the restaurant has confirmed that HBO had been in contact with them to shoot scenes at the parlor. The Sopranos was a groundbreaking show. It was so much more than just a mafia TV show, touching upon themes such as family commitment, identity, depression, addiction, and race. It gave us some of television's most memorable characters, with storylines that ranged from light and humorous to dark and disturbing. The transformation of the titular character is thought to be one of the most detailed and stunning character arcs in the history of the medium. The movie does have a lot to live up to. Michael Gandolfini in particular will be under a lot of scrutiny to see whether he is able to follow in his father's footsteps, and we've seen many sequels and prequels come out years after the original property, even sometimes made by the original creators, being subject to ridicule and hate. However, we've also seen times when it has been a success, and with original series creator David Chase at the helm, fans have reason to be excited for a Sopranos movie. If you want to hear more news about the Many Saints of Newark, consider subscribing to the channel, and thanks for watching.